Assalamu alaikum, welcome back again into the Unix system series, and in today's video we are going to solve Lab 3. Before I start, I would like you to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content and more lab walkthroughs. Okay, so let's start solving Lab 3. At the beginning, of course, we need to create our lab directory, which is Lab 3. Then using Vi editor, we are going to create a new file which is called this, and then we are going to insert this text inside this file. Then save this file in the lab3 directory. Then we will go to part 2 and continue solving the other questions. So we will use this file later on. So let's now do the first steps. Okay, so here I am already logged in PuTTY. First, I'm gonna create the lab directory, which is called lab3. Then I'm going to use the cd command to go inside this lab directory. Then I'm gonna use Vi editor to create the file lab3 part1 followed by the user id .txt. So you don't need to touch the file first, then using Vi editor edit the file and do the other stuff. You can directly and simply just type Vi followed by the name of the file, then we will be inside this file, and once we quit and save it, we will have the file. So when I open the Vi editor, I'm gonna press on I to enter the insert mode. Then I'm gonna paste the text. Once I'm finished, I'm gonna press on escape. Then I'm gonna type the colon WQ, which means I want to save and quit the file. Let's verify that, and as you can see, we have the file, and if I cat the file, I will have the text inside it. Going next to part 2, there is a file inside the lab files in the home directory called lab3 part 2. We need to copy this from this directory or this path into our home directory. Then check that the file is there using the appropriate command. So here simply we are going to use list to just make sure that this file is copied. Then we are going to edit the file again using Vi. And then at the end of the sentence, we are going to add this text and delete this sentence. Through the file, the word poly appears many times. Using the Vi editor, perform a search and replace. We need to change this word to this word. And then after doing all of that and saving the file, we need to rename the file to lab3 part2 user id.txt. Let me show you so it gets clear. Now I have to copy the file using the cp command, where the file is located in lab files, which is called lab3 part2, and I'm gonna copy it into this directory. I'm just simply gonna type dot, which means my current directory. I'm gonna use ls to verify that the file exists, as you can see. Then I'm gonna edit the file using Vi. Next, I'm gonna enter the insert mode and delete this line. And at the end of the sentence, I'm gonna add this. Once done, I'm gonna exit the insert mode using escape. Then I'm gonna press on shift and semicolon to get the double full stops or colon. And we are going to do or perform the search and replace. So at the beginning, I'm gonna use the percentage sign. So basically what it means that I'm gonna perform what I'm gonna write after this percentage into this file, followed by S. S we mean by substitution. We want to form a substitution, followed by slash and the word poly. So we are searching for the word poly in the file, and we are going to replace it with Polytechnic. And last thing to do is /g, which means we want a global change in this file. So we want to make sure that the changes happen to the whole file. Let's click on enter and see what happens. As you can see, the word poly has changed to Polytechnic, but notice here, we have double technic. The reason why it did occur is because this word is already Polytechnic. So if we are replacing the word poly with Polytechnic, we are gonna get a double technic. So there are many simple ways, there are many ways to solve that issue, but for the case of simplicity, simply just manually delete the additional ones. It is not that handy, but it's just for the case of simplicity to solve this issue. Next, I'm gonna save and quit the file. Now I have to rename this file using the mv command to lab3 part 2 followed by the user ID. Let's verify that. Perfect. Now we need to create a backup for each file. So we are gonna make a copy of each using the cp command followed by the file, which is, let's start with the first one, part 1. And this is gonna be the backup of it, the same name, but instead we are adding the day and the month and year that we have created this backup. I'm just gonna put 4 zeros. For your case it will be different, and the same step will be for part 2. Now let's verify our command, and as you can see we have created backup files for each. Finally, we are going to create an archive to combine these files and compress them using gzip. So simply we can use it in tar followed by this argument c, which means we are going to create an archive, and then I use v for verbose followed by z, which means we are going to use gzip to compress the file, and f, which means we want to specify the file. So the file name will be lab3, the user ID .tar.gz, and we are going to select the files that we want them to be inside this archive. So it's lab1 part1, lab3 again, the backup one, and the same for part 2. Let's click enter, and as you can see we have created the file. Let's use ls to verify that perfectly. Now simply just upload it to Moodle, and thanks for watching the video.